now, right now. Right 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 now, right now. Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. Well, what's happened? It's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekday morning show. We bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the rate decision that was made yesterday, and we're also going to be talking about the massive tease that Jerome Powell made yesterday during the following press conference. I would highly encourage you to go back and watch yesterday's live stream where we watched the Fed rate decision come out live. I'd also encourage you to go back and watch yesterday's video where we talked about how to find all of the information about that rate decision. But the primary thing I want to jump into today was a tease that Jerome Powell made at the press conference yesterday, and we're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. I'm very excited to have you today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and read some chat, and then we're going to jump straight on over to CoinMarketCap to get it kicked off. Give me 1 second here. All right. Mike Lowry said, good morning. Good morning to you as well, my friend. Wisely T in chat said, what do you think about BRICS gaining steam from several countries asking to join recently and try and unite against the dollar? I would wish them and bid them good luck. It is going to be an Herculean undertaking to try and overtake the United States dollar as the premier national sovereign currency in the world. That's not something that you're going to see happen anytime soon because there's simply not another currency in the world that has the ability and the geopolitical and military backing to represent the world reserve currency. This has been attempted multiple times in history and it's never succeeded. Typically speaking, the largest military in the world also controls what we call the world reserve currency. Right now, that is the United States dollar. And considering the issues with food reliability that China and Brazil have, considering the fact that India is a very under-industrialized and under-infrastructuralized nation, and considering the fact that Russia has been basically excommunicated from the world stage, I think BRICS is going to have a very hard time coming together in a way that could challenge the United States dollar, while also considering the fact that they are all under demographical concerns and they are on 4 different continents. Good luck to BRICS, I say. Daniel J said morning. Alex Nybo said morning. Jason Owen said good morning. Sean O'Brien said right now. That's all right. Crypto Nebs in chat said hi Jebb. Mike Lowry said smash the like button. Eric Ward said rise and shine my crypto friends and family. Let's see. William said, hey guys, what's going on? William here. Hello. Rice ETR said, good morning, Jebb. Let's see the diamond pattern that's printing now with a target of $35,000. We can take a look at that. Jason Owen said, what are we all buying or selling today? Question mark. Winky face. Jojo said, hello and good morning to all. Gabriel Nieves Ramos said, placed a short at $28,000 last Monday. Been holding my breath since then. Crypto Serg said, good morning, Jebb. Always happy to see you. Always happy to see you guys as well. Thank you so much for joining me here today. All right. Wisely T says, man, I hate that it shows that I'm first and somebody else moves on top after I close and reopen the chat. Yeah, that is a little strange. I think that has to do with just latency and your ping. So it sounds like you're not going to need to get better ping just so that you can be better at League of Legends. You're also going to need to get better ping so that you can be first to the Coffee and Crypto live stream chat. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to start over here on CoinMarketCap. Right now, Bitcoin is trading At $28,700 in change, it's up 1.34% over the last 24 hours, which is interesting because Bitcoin has actually managed to stay above 28,545, that critical level of resistance that we have been talking about for so long. We attempted to break below it, and we also attempted to break bullish above this zone yesterday, and Bitcoin categorically failed. It's very interesting. Bitcoin did not really move a whole lot based on this FOMC decision. We'll talk about why I believe that happened here in a little while. Ethereum is sitting at 1886. It's up 1.54% over the last 24 hours. BNB is up to $325. XRP up 1%. Cardano up 2%. Dogecoin, Matic, and Solana up slightly. Solana being up the greatest of the three, being up nearly 2%. Now, I want to show you the FOMC. Now, give me 1 second. I'm going to go to our YouTube video that we uploaded yesterday, and I'll go ahead and pull the website up from there. Let me show you. Come on over to youtube.com, go to Crypto Jebb, the YouTube channel, and then you can see this video that we uploaded yesterday. In 3 hours, Jerome Powell will cause a huge Bitcoin breakout. So we thought. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. This is the video. You can scroll down to the citations section of this video, and you'll be able to see this link right here. This link brings you over to the meeting calendars, statements, and minutes for 2018 through 2023 for the FOMC, and you can see at 2 o'clock and about 30 seconds yesterday, the statement dropped for May the 3rd. Clicking that statement, you can see that in this statement, the Federal Reserve has set the interest rate at 5.15%, effective May the 4th. That is today. By the way, May the 4th be with you. However, this is not the only part of this document that was extremely important. To go ahead and read a little bit more, we will see this information will be updated as appropriate to reflect decisions of the Federal Open Market Committee or the Board of Governors regarding details of the Federal Reserve's operational tools and approach to implementing monetary policy. I believe that's the line that Jerome Powell was speaking about when he said that that changed from last month in March. You can see, no, it wasn't that actually. I'd have to find exactly where he said that, but somewhere in the PDF, there is a statement where, here we go. Give me 1 second. I believe it's right up here. Wide range of information. Yes. So it's in here. Yep. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about here today, the really big news of the hour, is that the difference between these two statements is actually pretty massive. The March 22nd statement has language that basically says something to the effect of, it implies something to the effect of that we are expecting that there will be a rate hike at the next meeting. That was the meeting that was yesterday. That was the statement that was released yesterday at 2 p.m. Jerome Powell, in the first question that was asked of him by a reporter from the New York Times reporter asked them, do you think that after this meeting, we are going to see a pause? And this, my friends, very well may be one of the very most important developments in the United States economy, one of the most important announcements for the United States economy that we've witnessed in a year. I don't have I can't show it to you because it just isn't going to replay properly, but what I can basically tell you is this. He was asked whether or not there was going to be a pause next meeting. The next meeting is June 14th. Jerome Powell responded something like this. He said that, if you will remember, I can't tell you exactly what the market committee is going to do because it's going to take time and all this, yada, 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 covering his butt, whatever. But then he got to a part where he said in the last month's statement, there was language that said something to the effect of it implied that we were about to see a 25 basis point rate hike. That's the one we just saw, which we moved the interest rate from 4.9 to 5.15%. He said, you might notice in this month's statement that language is different. Instead, it says that the committee will closely monitor. Actually, I found it. Here we go. In this statement, he says the committee will closely monitor incoming information and assess the implications for monetary policy. Now, if we look over here at that same part, you can see that it says the same thing. But what Jerome Powell made a point of, and I actually can't see it in here, but he did say it from the stage of the press conference, is that there was a difference in the language between last month's statement and this month's statement. March 22nd statement, May 3rd statement. The May 3rd statement had language more of, not that we're basically going to have another 25 basis point rate hike, but more like we're going to evaluate incoming data and then make a decision based off of that. What we talked about in yesterday's live stream while we were watching the Federal Reserve's announcement was that if they're basically going from saying we're going to have a 25 basis point rate hike, which we just saw May the 3rd, to we might have a 25 basis point rate hike, but we need to see more incoming data, that means that they're actually on the stage, at least that's the way I understand it, that means that they're actually in the stance of saying, no, we're not going to have a 25 basis point rate hike right now, but if incoming information changes, then we're open to it. Nothing's really changed since 2 days ago. Now, something can change between now and June 14th for sure. Excuse me, I'm so very sorry. Something can change right now between now and June 14th for sure, but what you cannot be sure of is that that is going to happen. It's very possible that everything remains the same and the inflation comes down even more with the CPI release that's coming out a week from yesterday on May the 10th is when we'll see that coming out. And then when that comes out, the interest rate's at 5.15, maybe inflation is down to 4.6, 4.7, then they wouldn't need to raise the rate anymore. Why is that important? Well, that could mean that we're finally seeing a plateau in rates. If you come on over to TradingView, go to the EFFR, the effective federal funds rate, you can see that they've already been moving in the direction of plateauing rates for quite some time. The plateauing of rates is something that we've seen coming for a long time. We didn't know if it would happen at 5% or if it would go all the way up to 7%. They may have to hike rates again. They may plateau rates right now and then start hiking them again in a year. They might not just start dropping them, but it does seem that the effective federal funds rate is about to plateau at 5.15%, and the CME group, CME Fed Watch tool also believes the same thing. The CME Watch gives us a 94.6% likelihood right now of a pause, and when they're predicting a movement, they're actually predicting a movement down. You can see with a 5.4% likelihood, they're predicting a movement could be a 25 basis point drop right after the statement dropped at 2 p.m. But before the meeting started, the press conference started at 2:30. There was a split here. There was about they were showing about a 5% likelihood, because this updates in real time based on expert opinion. There was about a 5% likelihood of a drop, 5% likelihood of a raise, and 90% likelihood of a plateau. They fully expected there'd be a plateau at 5 to 5.25. As soon as Jerome Powell answered that question, that possibility over here on CME Group disappeared. They completely eradicated that possibility of a rate change. You can see 1 day ago, they were giving it a 16.3% likelihood on May the 3rd. Now they're giving it a 0% likelihood. They were giving it a 77% likelihood of a plateau and a 16.3% likelihood of a 25 basis point rate hike next. After Jerome Powell said that, they completely eliminated that option, and they're not even betting on whether it's going to happen because they don't believe at all that it will. Why is that important? Let's back up for a second, talk a little bit about interest rates. The interest rate, the Federal Reserve's funds rate, is the base rate that manages everything in the economy. It basically targets overnight bank transfers in a way that allows for banks to set their interest rates based on the effective federal funds rate. So it's one of the most powerful tools to manipulate the United States economy and the United States dollar monetary policy. One of the things that, one of the implications of that is that whenever you have the Fed, whenever the Fed is manipulating the market, they are now also manipulating the cost of currency. They're manipulating how difficult it is to take out a loan. For example, home loans, every time you raise the interest rate by 25 basis points, typically mortgage rates are going to go up by about 25 basis points. It's not a one-to-one correlation. It's not just the effective federal funds rate plus 2%. It's not that simple. It typically follows more the 10-year Treasury bond than just the EFFR, but the EFFR affects the 10-year Treasury bond because bonds have a lot to do with interest rates. That being said, it also impacts, as we talked about, overnight bank transfers, but it impacts things like credit cards. It impacts things like personal loans. It impacts things like auto loans. The effective federal funds rate hiking gives us this constriction on the United States economy. It gives us this sense of things are getting more difficult. It gives us this sense of things are getting more expensive. It gives us this sense of it's more difficult for me to go out and take out debt to go and finance the growth of a company, or to go and purchase a property, or to go and purchase an automobile, or to go and start a business, whatever it is, or maybe go out and hire a new employee. Whatever it is that somebody may be taking debt out for, it makes it much more difficult for them to go and take out that debt, quite simply speaking. The reason that that's significant is because growth in the United States economy is heavily influenced by debt. Normally, when you're growing a business, people don't bootstrap it like we did here at the company. We have never taken out debt for the sake of growing this company, ever, not one time. It's almost 6 years old. We've never done it. We've made money, reinvested it, grown it, and we like what we're doing right now. Most companies don't work that way. They take out debt to grow their company, to grow their enterprise. They maybe pay 10% of the principal in interest over the course of a year or two, but then they make 50% from the interest from the principal in net proceeds, and then they just use the interest cost as a cost of doing business, and they grow their company. Well, that cost of doing business goes up exponentially when the interest rates have more than doubled on something like a business loan over the last 18 months. That leads to a slowing down of the growth of the United States economy. That leads to real impacts in the jobs market, because if there's not expansion in the business sector, then there's a lot less jobs growth. And also it means that the people that do have jobs are spending more money on things like trying to buy a new home. The housing market is in a bubble right now on trying to do things like buying new cars. So there's a lot of impacts that the effective federal funds rate has on the United States economy. So that's where we need to pay very close attention to what is going on with the interest rates. So let's go ahead and jump on over here to Bitcoin and talk about what's going on in the short term here. Now, Bitcoin, following the effective federal funds rate hike, did about nothing. It was very interesting. We're going to come down here to the 10-second chart, and I'll show you what took place. Actually, we won't go down to the 10-second chart because I won't ever be able to show you. But on the minute chart, you can see here, as soon as the effective federal funds rate came out, the news dropped. Bitcoin did nothing. Then, here about 2:26 or so, moving into the meeting, Bitcoin started dropping quite aggressively. Bitcoin dropped all the way down to $28,240 because people were worried, oh goodness, what's going to happen during the meeting? What's Jerome Powell going to say? He started making some statements about just facts and figures during his actual press release, and the fact that they decided to raise rates. We had this downtrending level of resistance right here that Bitcoin kept projecting off of. And Bitcoin stayed down here under $28,545 until about almost 5 o'clock that afternoon. By this time, around 5 o'clock this afternoon, is when the mainstream media caught wind of the fact that Jerome Powell had just teased a rate pause. If you're watching our stream yesterday, you would have noticed that within 5 minutes of him saying that, because as soon as he said that, I said, whoa, time out. That was a big deal, what he just said right there. He was teasing a rate pause next month. Mainstream media caught it a few hours later. Bitcoin ended up rallying, likely because everybody's thinking, aha, the interest rates are going to go up. I'm sorry, the interest rates are going to plateau. So Bitcoin actually went through a rally here of $1,000 in 2 hours. A lot of times in history, Bitcoin has dropped quite aggressively on a Fed rate hike. Why didn't it drop on this Fed rate hike? Very, very, very simply, because Jerome Powell teased that this is the last one. So the FOMO from that overshadowed the decreasing bearishness of a 25 basis point rate hike. Guys, to be quite simple and frank with you, the market's already seen two 25 basis point rate hikes. The market's already seen it. The first time that we saw that happen, on February the 1st, Bitcoin dropped. Second time we saw a 25 basis point rate hike, we didn't drop, we traded sideways. Now we're actually moving to the upside because of it. Why? Because the end is in sight. We've been seeing effective federal funds rate hikes for over a year. If you plot the EFFR over Bitcoin, you can see we've been hiking rates since back here. It was very possible that Bitcoin could have maintained this longer-term uptrend and gone into a big rally and hit new all-time highs and everything, if not for the inflation catching up with the United States economy, with the Russian-Ukrainian conflict, with the halving cycles being relevant, with a decreasing interest in the cryptocurrency space, and then also, to add insult to injury, we started hiking rates. 25 basis points, then 50, then 75, 75, 75, then 75 again, then 50, then 25, then 25, and we just saw another 25 basis point rate hike. These hiking rates, along with the hiking United States Central Bank balance sheet, USCBBS, have led to the dropping of the United States Central Bank balance sheet has led to this market in the United States economy. Quite simply, to understand why Bitcoin has been doing what it's been doing, you need to look at these three markets. Look at the SPY. Look at these four markets. Look at the SPY, the Dixie, the balance sheet, and the effective federal funds rate. Why do I show all of these? Well, I'm going to go through them one at a time. So let's start with the effective federal funds rate. The effective federal funds rate leads to a drop in Bitcoin whenever it's rallying. We've seen that happen historically in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Whenever it's moving to the upside. We've seen that happen historically here as rates started pushing up towards 2.5% here in 2019. That was when Bitcoin was under a bear market. You might say, but Jebb, rates were right here. We were already in a bull market. Bitcoin had plenty of momentum. It was only at 1%. It wasn't that big a deal. We started pushing up towards 2.5%. That coincided with the bottom. We saw rates started slamming to the floor. Bitcoin would have been going into a bull market within 6 months of that, if not for the pandemic. So it got kicked off another 6 months into the future. Looking now, we can see that effective federal funds rate going up correlates with the drop in the price action of Bitcoin. The historicity isn't great there. Looking into this, in fact, I just shot a video for Club DeFi talking about historicity and confirmation. Looking at the confirmation of this trend, it's not the best confirmation because some of these rate hikes took place while Bitcoin was in a bull market, but the vast majority of the worst rate hikes took place while Bitcoin was in a bear market. So there is some confirmation there. If that were to be a true statement, you would think that Bitcoin would be in a big rally because of this drop on EFFR. That's not quite the case. Nevertheless, EFFR moving to the upside does seem to have had a negative impact on Bitcoin. And ever since that those rate hikes started slowing down and plateauing, Bitcoin's been going into a rally. And so I think that if we do have a plateau and we don't have a rate hike next month on June 14th, that will end up being a remarkably bullish thing for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin rallies up to 31,000 or 32,935 as a result of CPI releasing a week from yesterday, and then we're able to stay bullish going into June 14th, and then that will also be the same day, I think. Let's see, bls.gov/CPI release schedule. June 13th. Okay, so yeah, this is a theory that we're going to have to explore quite a bit. June 13th, we're going to see CPI releasing. It's probably going to be another drop of maybe 1 to 2%. If that occurs, then you're very likely going to see a huge rally on Bitcoin because rates will plateau the day after. Bitcoin will already be rallying as a result of CPI coming out, so that's wonderful. But it does explain why we've been in a bear market. Of course, the halving cycles are a big explanation for that, but so too is the EFFR. Now, the next one, the Dixie. People have been talking about the Dixie quite a lot. The Dixie is inversely correlated to Bitcoin. Whenever the Dixie's rallying, Bitcoin is crashing. Whenever the Dixie's crashing, Bitcoin is rallying. It really is about as simple as that. Dixie had been rallying quite a lot because of geopolitical factors, but then it got kicked into hyperdrive as the EFFR started hiking because with the effective federal funds rate going up, starting right here, the Dixie started moonshotting. Dixie started coming down when we started lowering the rate hike increase because the other central banks around the world were hiking rates faster than the United States dollar was at that point. So the United States dollar started losing ground to things like the euro, the pound sterling, the different currencies around the world that were hiking rates. So that explains why there's this certain correlation between the EFFR and the Dixie. Remember, the Dixie is the dollar currency index. It tracks the strength of the dollar against a basket of other world reserve currencies, against other sovereign currencies. Now, also looking at the SPY, you can see the SPY has had a very hard time of it over the last 2 years. Major correction during the bear market of Bitcoin. It's attempting a breakout in a rally right now. Hasn't confirmed it yet, but, well, neither is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's been attempting a rally during that time. Everything's looking pretty peachy keen right now. Now, the final thing to keep in mind is that right around the time that all of those things started taking place, the Dixie was moonshotting, the SPY was crashing, and the effective federal funds rate started hiking. During that time, the Federal Reserve also started dropping the balance sheet. Around April 10th of 2022. All of those things came into play at the exact same time. And on top of that, we also saw Luna collapse. So Bitcoin dropped $31,000 in 90 days. It was a perfect storm of fundamental factors that led to Bitcoin's major capitulation during summer of last year. Why do I bring all this up? Because almost every one of those trends is about to change. Let me explain. The effective federal funds rate is likely to plateau now. Now we have that information. That's the final piece of the puzzle. It's likely to plateau next decision, June 14th. They will probably start. They'll probably start to cease the decrease of the United States Central Bank balance sheet at some point in the future. Now, as for yesterday, they did go ahead and roll off another $60 billion of treasuries and $35 billion of mortgage-backed securities. So that's something to keep in mind there. But they will probably stop that trend at some point in the future, which means that the balance sheet will probably bottom out here no lower than $7 trillion, which is not much lower than where it is, $1.5 trillion. You know, they're trying to print coins of that size nowadays. But if it does drop down there and bottom out, then that would be, theoretically anyway, a bullish thing for Bitcoin, because a constraining debt market using the balance sheet as a basis is never a bullish thing for Bitcoin. So that's kind of a long-term projection. But also the other thing to keep in mind is the Dixie's very low right now, sitting in very low territory. The Dixie doesn't just have to be moving to the downside to be bullish for Bitcoin. If it's just low, that's kind of bullish for Bitcoin as well. The weaker the US dollar is, typically the stronger that is for Bitcoin. The SPY looks like it could be going into a rally anytime soon. The EFFR, like I said, is plateauing. Almost every single one of these trends that is impactful in any capacity seems to be reversing in a direction that's very bullish for Bitcoin. And so now we kind of have the final piece of the puzzle there. I guess there's one more piece of the puzzle. That would be the balance sheet no longer shrinking for Bitcoin to go into a major rally. I think the balance sheet should be shrunk. I think it should go down all the way to zero, quite frankly. So I'm not advocating from a stance of moral superiority of saying that the balance sheet should cease its shrinking. It does need to be shrunk aggressively, and they're doing it the right thing by shrinking it, even if it leads to short-term consequences in the United States economy and labor market. That being said, when they do stop shrinking the balance sheet, because they're not going to take it to zero, as much as we'd like for them to, they're not going to take it to zero. When they do stop shrinking the balance sheet, then that will also provide a catalyst for a major rally here on Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So that's my outlook on that. I will be talking about that more in upcoming videos and streams, but let's go ahead and read some chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, by the way. Let's see. Jebb, please do some TA on Cardano. We probably could do that a little bit later. Bringing the Jebb Alpha again. Thanks. Thank you. He said an increase is still possible depending on the data. People need to stop and listen and try and think that everything is bullish. If you watch what he said, you might just be reading a quote. If you watch what he said, even in his body language, he was attempting to tease that a pause is possible. And what he said is that last month, that was not intended to be represented as a possibility. This month, based on data, it is a possibility we could see a pause. It was not a guarantee that we're going to see a pause, but it certainly seemed to imply that if we don't have a pause this month, we probably would the next month. Let's see. Crypto Mini Bike in chat said, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. When was the last time Powell didn't raise the rate? Over 1.5 years. The last time that the rate wasn't raised was, let's see here. Effective federal funds rate, the first decision was in March of 2022. So about 14 months ago. They've been raising rates for over 1 year now. Let's see. Interest rate drop already? What is he smoking? Yeah, no, interest rates are probably not going to drop anytime soon. In this market, I DCA and ignored FUD. By the way, Jebb, how much ADA to become a millionaire? Well, I don't think it's quite as simple as saying you need a certain amount of Cardano to become a millionaire, but if you were able to acquire, let's see here, 10, yep, divide by 10. What's the price of Cardano? If Cardano went to $10, which I think it could in the future, if you were able to acquire 100,000 Cardano, which would cost you 38 grand, that would be worth $1 million. But the thing I'm here to tell you is that being a millionaire takes a lot more than just having $1 million. I hope you know that. We've had $1 million. That's not what it takes to be a millionaire. To be a millionaire is a mindset. And that's where financial sovereignty comes in, guys. Financial sovereignty is that concept of being the steward of your finances, not the other way around. Being the one that is in control of your finances, not the other way around. Having your finances serve you, not the other way around. And it's very, very important to me that you understand that, because I want you to be successful in the cryptocurrency space. And if you don't understand that becoming a millionaire or become financially sovereign or whatever it is that you're looking for out there in the world of finance, it does not start in your bank account. It starts in your brain. The vast majority of people that became millionaires the right way, rather than just winning the lottery or something, have the same story of saying, I just kind of looked in my bank account one day and realized there was $1 million there. because they're just doing the right thing to financially every single day. And eventually, just like it's nothing, it just crosses that mark. I remember when CT2A crossed $1 million in revenue. It's just like, it just crosses that mark. It just gets there and then, okay, there you go. It's like, wow. I thought there was supposed to be like a bunch of fireworks when that happens. No, it just gets there. We have I think it's in this room somewhere. Teachable sent me a plaque for $1 million in revenue on CT2A because we sold 5,000 copies. You guys were awesome. That's where we were able to grow the channel so much, is through that revenue. I barely used it. By the way, just so you know, I didn't buy myself anything fancy with that. I reinvested almost every single penny of that back into this channel. And it's been really great. But what I mean is that when you make $1 million, you just kind of see, you just kind of cross that line eventually. It's not so much a thing of, wow, I made $1 million. It's more of like a, I've been doing the same thing every day, the right thing financially for 10 years, and here we are. Have a high enough income, low enough debt. Maybe you're paying off debt to build equity, and that's how you're building your $1 million. Whatever it is, you just kind of get there one day, and you expect fanfare, and there's really not. It's the same thing as hitting $657,153 in net worth. You just show up there one day, and then you do everything you can to be financially sovereign so that you stay there. That's the way it works. So how much Cardano does it take to become a millionaire? If Cardano if Cardano goes to $1 million, it would take you 38,000 Cardano. Sorry, it would take you 100,000 Cardano, which costs $38,000 right now to have $1 million in Cardano. But having $1 million in Cardano does not make you a millionaire. Because if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the skill set, and you don't have the mentality, then you're not going to keep that. You're going to end up spending it on frivolous things. You're going to end up spending it on stupid things. There's a lot of money that I spent on dumb things that I did not need. Believe me, I can tell you all kinds of horror stories about that. My dream is to teach you guys from my experience of making millions of dollars, but also my experience of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in places where I'm like, you know, going back, I wasn't intending to waste that. I wasn't trying to be stupid with it, but I definitely could have spent that a lot better. It's my intention to come here on the Crypto Jebb YouTube channel and into Club DeFi and say, look, guys, learn from my mistakes. Learn from my successes. Not in a prideful way, but just here's a testimony that might be helpful for you. And I want to teach you financial sovereignty through the lens of what I've been able to learn. And that's also where Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis comes in. Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis is the first course here in Club DeFi where we're going to teach you everything that you need to know about technical analysis. But make no mistake, technical analysis is just one small part of becoming financially sovereign. In fact, you can become financially sovereign without technical analysis if you have a different career. But if you're trying to become financially sovereign in cryptocurrency, then you're going to need technical analysis, because I firmly believe that technical analysis is the gate and key that unlocks your success and your potential in the cryptocurrency space. I want to see you guys thrive in your life financially, but to do so, you've got to acquire some kind of skill. You got to become a heart surgeon. You got to become a doctor. You got to become a technical analyst, a chartist, an investor. A lot of people get very wealthy through real estate. Whatever it is, you've got to invest in something that is profitable. Cryptocurrency happens to be the thing we talk about every day, but it doesn't have to just be cryptocurrency. But if you're trying to become successful in cryptocurrency, I'm here to tell you one simple fact. And this is a fact. This is not my opinion. You will have a very, very, very difficult time succeeding in cryptocurrency through trading and investing, that is, without at least a basic understanding of technical analysis. Now, I suppose you could make a lot of money in cryptocurrency if you were working in a project, or you were a developer, or you were, working in it in some capacity that didn't involve trading and investing, and you can make a lot of money. But if you're trying to become financially sovereign through that lens of trading and investing, which I know is what you're here for, because that's what we talk about every day, trading, investing, reading charts so that we know how to do those things, then you, my friend, need technical analysis. Why? Because the market is screaming signals at you day in and day out. It is telling you all day long, buy now, sell now, put a trade here, put a trade there. And I want you guys to be able to succeed in cryptocurrency, so I want to teach you guys technical analysis, and that's where Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis comes in. There's over 62 videos over here that are currently still undergoing updates, and I'm very excited to let you guys know that that we are doing office hours every Monday at 8:30. If you are in Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis, you can get access to office hours through Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis by joining our Discord server, and I look forward to seeing you guys over there every single Monday. All right, let's go ahead and read some chat. Really appreciate all of you guys tuning in, by the way. From the bottom of my heart, I just want you to know that it's been my dream to be a YouTuber For 10 years, going back to when probably more than that, probably like 12 years, going back to when I was like 11 or 12, I spent so much time on YouTube in middle school because I didn't really have a lot of friends. If you don't know this about me, I went to 7 different elementary schools. I started school in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where I was born. I went to school in Surfside. I went to, I think, at least 2 different schools in South Carolina, and then I went to 3 different schools in Florida. But 6, whatever it was. I think it was 4 different, I think it was either 6 or 7 different elementary schools. So I had a lot of bouncing around, just my dad and I. We bounced around a lot, moved around. I didn't really have this solid social circle. So I kind of developed socially a lot later than a lot of people did. I was kind of a late bloomer in the figuring out how to interact with people because I knew how to interact with my dad. He and I were great buds, but I didn't really know how to interact with anyone else. So come middle school, I finally go to one middle school for 3 years and went to middle school like just, right down the road. And I started socializing, but I also found this thing called YouTube. And YouTube was awesome because I could go on YouTube and I could learn whatever I wanted about anything I wanted, whether that was Minecraft or whether that was astrophysics or whether that was the Big Bang or which, long story about that. But whatever it was, I could go on YouTube and I could learn about these different concepts. I could go on YouTube and learn about a ton of different things. And I realized I wanted to do that for a living. And so I made a YouTube channel in 8th grade with a game called Ace of Spades. And these videos are still up. I actually just went ahead and took them down a few years ago because they're kind of embarrassing. But maybe I should put them up just for old time's sake. The first one's called Jump Snipe. I was playing a game called Ace of Spades. And yeah, that video went out 9 years ago. Didn't have a microphone yet. I remember my dad getting me a microphone. It was this little, I'll have to find this thing one day. It was this little cheap microphone. It cost like $15 because we couldn't afford anything. Let me see. Here we go. My first microphone was like I just saw it. It's like one of these things. This was my first microphone. It's like one of these dudes. Whatever this is. Like this kind of thing. Like this little thing. Cost like $8. And made my little video. I made this intro. It was so bad. It was so bad. But I was super proud of it. And I got to 20 subscribers and I made a 20 subscriber special. This is when I was in 8th grade, guys. I was 13 years old. And that was 10 years ago. It's been my dream for so long to be on YouTube and to teach you guys. Well, not just to teach you guys. Even before it was my dream to teach you guys, I wanted to be able to share my passions, my knowledge with people. That was really the foundational dream. And then I learned about this concept of, hey, you can make money by being an entrepreneur and get yourself out of a bad situation and everything. So I was very appreciative for that. And of course, I've had this whole journey. Diamond Hands Daryl just said, Jebb, where's the Area 51 video? Yeah, I really should upload what I have on that. I look back on it like, wow, I have so much better camera gear now than I did. I mean, look at this set, guys. That light's in the wrong place. This set looks so freaking awesome. I had such terrible camera gear back then. But yeah, I went to the Area 51 raid. I was in a CBS video with 1.2 million views. It was number 2 on trending for a day. I got interviewed by the Los Angeles Times. I've had so many adventures because of what I've done here on YouTube, and none of that would be possible without you. That's kind of the point I'm getting at, is I'm just so very thankful for you guys and what you've done for me. So thank you guys. Seriously. Thank you guys so very much for everything that you've done for me. Because I have definitely been a huge beneficiary of your grace for watching this channel and this stream, and I believe that there's a lot more to come, and I'm very excited about it. Dang, Jebb, I also had different elementary schools every year because I reached middle school because my family moved a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. YouTube is the best. YouTube is pretty awesome. Do I still predict a drop to 26,686? After what Jerome said, probably not, to be honest with you. Owen Terry said, I want to sign up for Principles of Technical Analysis, but I can't afford it. Owen Terry, shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com. Maybe we can help you out in some way, maybe some kind of payment plan or something. We do believe that it's worth that much, but I want you guys to be able to have an education, so you can shoot us an email. We don't typically just give out really big coupons, but maybe we could work with you in some capacity, because I understand that $400 is quite a lot of money. Now, if you were in CT2A, there is a 25% off coupon code that equates to $100 that you can use. Shoot us an email, support@cryptojebb.com. And if you were in Club DeFi's beta, when it was a subscription model, then you can also get access to Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis with a coupon code based on however much you put into the beta, but I'm not aware if you were in either one of those. You can earn $1 million a week, but if you spend $1,010,000 a week, you're doing it the wrong way. That's exactly right. And I did a lot of that. What you need is buying power, not millions. Yep, that's part of it. I'm buying a house. Good for you. Cardano changed my life. I started with 3,000 USD in 20. Wow. I've already been a billionaire in Zimbabwe. It's not that big of a deal since the prices of goods compensate accordingly. I see. You should try out for Jebb per D. I can honestly say I've never heard that one before. I've gotten a lot of jokes, but I've never heard that one before. TA on Cardano, please. Yes, sir. Coming right up. Let's do it. I said we might be able to do that. Cardano right now is sitting at 38.9 cents, basically at 39 cents. It's kind of like when you see gasoline is sitting at, $3.38, but it's actually $3.39 because it's 9/10. Anyway, they try and get you there in case you don't know. If it's $3.99, it's actually $4 because $3.99 and 9/10. Regardless, the level to look at on Cardano right now is 40 cents. It's right above us. We were going through a major rally here in March and April, moving up to this 46 cents region. However, that rally was not to finish the way that we wanted it. We wanted Cardano to go through a much larger rally, but Bitcoin didn't move as far as we thought it would. My price prediction for Cardano was if, and we actually have a video on this, you can go back and watch it. Got about 37,000 views. My price prediction on this was if Bitcoin goes to 32,935, Cardano will go to between 50 and 70 cents. It was an aggressive, or 77 cents. It was an aggressive price target. But if Bitcoin had gone to 32,935, I think we would have seen a lot of things kick off, and Cardano would have been in a bigger rally than it is now. That being said, that didn't happen. So Cardano has dropped back down here to 38.9 cents. The tricky thing with Cardano that I've been telling you guys about that you need to remember is that Cardano really has to prove itself this cycle. It's not as simple as just saying, okay, it's rallying. It's the next cycle, so surely it's going to go back to 313. No, it needs to earn its way back up there again. There's a story of Arnold Schwarzenegger leaving the movie industry for like 10 or 15 years, and then he came back, and everybody's like, well, why don't you just go do like some big AAA movie or whatever, because you got this massive name. And he said, well, no, I've been gone for a while. I need to start from the bottom. So he did small movies and he had to work his way. He decided he was going to work his way back up. And that's kind of what Cardano has to do. Cardano has proven itself that it can be worth tens of billions of dollars. But it needs to reprove itself because this is a new bull market. So does everything for that matter. Bitcoin needs to reprove itself. Ethereum needs to reprove itself. So Cardano is going to need to prove itself to me this bull market. I do believe in Cardano. I do love Cardano. I think it's going to do very well. I've met Charles Hoskinson, the man. We've interviewed him here on this channel. I think Cardano is going to do great, but it's going to have to prove itself to me. That's not technical analysis, though. So as far as the TA is concerned, let's look at a few different things. First thing I want to look at is Lux Algo. Daily chart looks very bullish in general on Lux Algo. We do have kind of like these two major buy signals here and then these secondary corrective waves. You can see that Lux Algo came in with a buy signal here and here. Those got confirmed with trend catcher. Market moved to the upside quite aggressively. Then we had two confirmed strong sell signals. Drop the market quite aggressively as well. It is very possible that Cardano is done with this correction at this point because it has double bottomed right here around that 37.5 cent region. It would make a lot of sense to me if we did see that Cardano bottomed right around this region, considering the fact that it represents a double bottom right now, but it also represents a pretty important price level moving into history. And if we look at the VRVP, it is also right there in the middle of a lot of VRVP support. It's possible, therefore, that this was an A or a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll have a fifth wave to the upside on Cardano. The tricky thing is, if we do see that fifth wave to the upside, that very well could establish a rising wedge, something like this, and then Cardano could fall out of that down to like 30 cents or something. Now, if Bitcoin's up at $35,000, $40,000, Cardano would probably maybe break bullish out of that, come back down, back test 40 cents, and then move to the upside. I think something like this is what is likely, but as you'll notice, that is a movement that could take the rest of this year. I am running out of time, so we have to call it there, but we can talk about Cardano more in the future if you guys are interested. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and sign up for Club DeFi's Principles of Technical Analysis. It's not the only course that's going to be in Club DeFi, guys. I've got a lot of work to do on a lot of different things here on the YouTube channel, but I want to get more courses out in Club DeFi to teach you guys about more than just technical analysis. I want to teach you how to invest. I want to teach you how to manage your finances. I want to teach you how to achieve financial sovereignty in general, and I'm really excited for you guys to be along for the ride. I am going to have to go, but before I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.